Tell you what, we might have had an extra hour in bed here in the UK, but I tell you what, I slept like someone, frankly, that had been on the game all night having been yesterday, should I say, on the game all day as one of the most popular, if you know what I mean. I tell you what, I am so still coming awake. Anyway, good morning and welcome to Steve's Sunday Service. And in this program, I'm calling it a program on the platforms. What do I talk about? Well, it's very relaxed and informal, of course, because that is the way that it has to be. And we talk about news, we have a gossip, we have a laugh, we have a serious moment, we talk support, and of course, what I will also be doing is answering your questions, because I get many questions. And can I say can you all please do me a favor? Hang on, I just want to get that up there. There we go. Hello, darling. Someone's saying Margaret Ann Sharp. Hello, my love. Can I just say a big warm welcome to, I have a new fan. His name is Ollie. He is a super guy, very nice, rather nice to look at too. And I often see him in the pub, and he said to me yesterday he was going to be straight up in the morning. Can't wait for Sunday service. Looking at me, he's got a crush. Anyway, there you go. It is delightful. Thanks for being here, by the way. I tell you, if no bugger turns up, I'm buggered, aren't I? Well, I can talk to myself because I've got a gob on me, gob and a half. That's how it is, isn't it? So, Right. Say yes, good morning, and Andrew as well. And I will be looking at, I will look at comments later, I promise you. What an interesting week it's been in the news, hasn't it? Well, we've got old Rishi. I'm beginning to think, though, Rishi used to be dishy and now he's becoming Rishi ditchy, simply because, well, there's certain things that he's now not going to do. Remember the £10 cancellation fee? Well, that's going, isn't it? That's going. Andrew Smith, good morning. Yeah, that's going. And I tell you what, so he's ditched that. There was something else he ditched as well, but I just can't remember what it was. I haven't got a clue. Yeah, so an interesting week. This particular edition of Sunday Service is going to be very weight management focused, because that, of course, is the central niche of the Steve Miller brand, as well as Fatnosis, which incorporates Fatnosis. So there you go. Just let me get a screen up, and there I am. Shut up, Steve. I don't want to hear myself. Mia, good morning to you. How are you? I hope you're well. My darling. Right. So what are we talking about? What do you want to talk about as well? I've had quite a few questions in this week, by the way. Someone said to me they're eating because they're too bored. Now, can I be really blunt about this one? Right. If you're eating because you're bored, then you start making yourself not bored. It is as simple as that. And it's one of those things that I totally understand and I totally get it. But when people say to me, I'm eating because I'm bored, Steve, well, the thing to do, and I do that as well, is I make sure that I've got things happening, that I do. That I actually act upon, and things that I like to do, and that's the important thing. So actually, I think eating because I'm bored, I get it, but I think it's a little bit feeble. If I'm totally honest with you, I'm going to be direct on it, and I think it's a little bit of a wet weekend excuse, if I'm totally honest. I was told off yesterday, by the way, by somebody from another weight management brand, and they said to me, "It's not excuses, it's reasons and reasoning." No. It's elephant in the room excuses, my darling. That's what it is, right? Seriously, that's what it is. Now, someone has sent me another question about how to manage stress eating, and this one I do actually believe it does exist, and it is one that needs a little bit of focus for people at times. I get that, right? What I would say with stress eating, I wrote some notes on this, is first of all to find the source of it. What is the trigger? What is the causation of it? Okay. And it's only then that we can start to implement our own strategies, for how we're going to deal with it. And the sources of it can be many. Is it I'm in the wrong job? Is it I'm in the wrong relationship? Is it that, I'm not being fulfilled enough because, to achieve things? So I'm bored, because boredom, believe it or not, does cause stress in terms of that context. Yeah. So with stress eating, it is, and at the same time, it's also very much about boosting self-esteem as well. And people, can I be honest with you? I'm very itchy today. I put too much moisturizer on. It's got the hairs on my face. Anyway, Right, here we go. Yeah, let me be totally blunt about this, right? A lot of people talk about self-esteem, you know, oh, my self-esteem's low. Oh, my confidence, I've got no confidence, got no self-esteem. All right, okay. I'm going to be quite blunt about this, right? I keep saying that word today, don't I? Like it's an apology, and I shouldn't be making an apology. However, can you quit saying that it's really hard in terms of building self-esteem, right? Because it's not. And many people think, well, I can't believe he's saying that it's not, it's really difficult. Well, actually, if you're going down that alley, you're never going to build your self-esteem, are you? You're always going to be behaving like a forever victim that bores the arse off most people, and you live on victim bleeding avenue, right? Victim victorious avenue. So that's really important. Now, self-esteem, to build self-esteem is important because that links directly into stress eating. So to build your self-esteem, what do you do? I touched on it last week, is you take action to accelerate your confidence. And yes, hypnosis does this very well, but there are practical things we can do, such as stretching our confidence, ditching people around us that we want no more around us. And there's many of those. By the way, bit of a tip for a Sunday this week. Hang out with people that radiate, not drain you. Okay, you've heard me say that before. And do not be in a place of feeling guilty if you ditch them from your phone book, right? And if you're in a relationship that is, end it, ditch it, move on, right? I'd go as far as to say go and have an affair if you're being bullied in a relationship as well, right? What's the point of hanging about? Life's too short. We have to move forward. We have to support ourselves to move forward. And I think sometimes it's about giving ourselves permission to do that. And we don't often do it simply because we have this perceived fear. The perception of fear blocks progression. Yeah. Anyway, so it is looking at the source of it, and then moving forward to build our self-esteem and confidence, stretching our confidence, putting ourselves in situations where confidence is stretched and we get that ouch factor so that we begin to feel better. Yeah, I can't be doing with all this woolly, this sort of airy-fairy sort of stuff about talk to yourself more positively and all of this sort of stuff. Look, yeah, that's been around for years, okay? And everyone knows that anyway. We're not stupid, are we, people? Do you know what I mean? Right? By the way, smash my love button because it makes me feel very special, right? I'm very needy on that. Where was I? Where am I going with that one? Yeah, so making sure that we take action to deal with the source is important. And then, yes, of course, making sure that we recognize and accept that there are times when we're going to feel crap, and there are times when we're not, going to feel great about ourselves, but that's okay. And that links into the fallibility factor that I mentioned last week, which is always important. And this week, I would encourage people to make sure that they do accept fallibility and that they do move forward, knowing that actually there is something that can be done, but you have to be selfish, right? And when people say, oh, they're so selfish. Well, actually, when people sometimes say, oh, they're so selfish, good. Some people need to be more selfish. And do you know why they need to be more selfish? Because it's only then when they mend themselves that they're going to be able to give out better, to other people in terms of self-value. So all of this claptrap PC malarkey of, be kind and don't be selfish. Well, I don't agree with that all the time, right? Yes, be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind, be bloody well kind. I get all that, right? But also sometimes you've got to put yourself first before you can ever go out and help other people. So in the self-help world, I have to say there's a lot of bull, right? There's a lot of bull spouted that would not inspire the thirsty to drink water, frankly. And that goes with many hypnotherapists out there, some of which will hate me for saying this probably. But many of those, I believe, there are people out there that practice that have got so many problems themselves. I would touch them with the cat litter tray spoon, right? And also could not inspire the thirsty to drink water. That's not elevating me up before anyone says it, because you already know how bloody great I am, right? But it's about realism and being practical. Of course, I balance that with saying there's lots and lots of excellent ones out there, and there are, right? So let's just have a look. Right on. Oh, I like that. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you, Margaret Ann Sharp, who's telling me I'm right on point today. Thank you very much. Do you know why? I am absolutely Just like that little flash that comes up. It's really good, this technology, isn't it? I'm loving it, right? Because I can't be doing with all of the claptrap. I can't be doing with all this, you're not allowed to say this and you're not allowed to say that. I will say what I want to say. You can say what you want to say as well. And as long as you're not saying things that are, not right, and that's common sense, then you're fine to have an opinion. You're fine to say things like, I actually really like Donald Trump, or I actually really value Katie Hopkins, or I actually really value the input from Anne Widdecombe. Or, do you know what I mean? Those are the people that are often perceived as, oh, I can't believe it, you're saying this, and you're like, how can you, after what they said, and all this sort of thing. Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, you don't have to listen to them anyway. And number two, have you seen half of the nonsense and crap they get as people? Yeah, that comes on to another thing today for Sunday service, which is, why worry about what people think if you are being who you want to be and having the opinions that you want, right? As long as those opinions are reasonable, okay, in terms of human life, and who you are is reasonable, then why worry about it? I don't worry about that. There's no point in worrying about that. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're worrying about that, you're going to drain your head. And you see, years ago, and I think this is important also for younger people to realize, it's so easy to be the people pleaser. It's so easy to want to deny yourself so that you believe in your head you're going to have a great relationship with someone else as a person, person to person, because you're agreeing with them. You're saying what they say. You just feel you've got to be on their wavelength, even though in your head you're thinking, no chance, right? So I say bull to that sort of living. I say live how you want to live, have the opinions you want to have the the commentary, the narrative that you want to have, as long as it's not horrendously unlawful or something like that. Of course there has to be boundaries, but I think we've been living in a world where actually we've been suffocated to a degree. Well, I say that to that living, right? I say that to that style of living. And what we need to do is come back and start being who we want to be with our recent opinions. So hang on a minute. Let's have a look at this one. I got more selfish a few years ago. I generally feel much better for it. Learn to say yes and no to the right things. And she puts a kiss on. And that is so true, isn't it? Because I think what we do is we live in a land of pleasure pleasing. Sounds a bit risky, doesn't it? Naughty but nice on a Sunday, that term. But it's so true. And I think again that you have a right to say no. You don't have to please everybody, and I think that's the way of living. Once we start doing that, of course, what happens is our self-respect receives a boost. And when it comes in terms of the knock-on effect to eating, again, then what happens there is we rely less on food for a comfort, to fill a void in us, in our personality, in our life, because we have so much more self-respect. And there you go. So a few things there that are related to stress eating. Right. This one made me laugh, right? Someone said to me, and they didn't make me laugh. I laughed at my answer to this one. Someone said to me a few days ago on the thread, they put about, my challenge is that I pick food. I'm picking, right? So picking. Listen, have you ever thought of doing this, right? Bit lighter conversation here. I tell you what, if you are a picker, little pickers wear big knickers and all that sort of stuff, right? If you're a picker, put plasters on your fingers with little messages on, words on, right? Write whatever you want, no matter what those words are. And that will form what we know in the business is called, in the world of psychology, hypnosis and whatever, they love all this sort of speak, psychobabble. Right, but it is called pattern interrupter. So when you go to pick the Monster Munch, or you pick Mary in a land of cookies, what you're going to be doing is looking at your fingers. Yeah. And you can read whatever you want to read. I'll leave your own imagination to come up with what you want to come up with there. But I tell you what, little pickers do wear big knickers, and it ain't pleasant, is it? It ain't pleasant. Let's go on. Let me go on to another one. Someone's also saying about binge eating. This is quite a challenge for many people. And I get that. So I'm looking at this. Let me have a look. Andrew Smith, handsome Andrew, is saying, hang on a minute, I have to go like that. I don't eat all day and can't stop myself late at night. That is a big one, isn't it? Let me just address that for a minute. You see, I think it's really common, that actually, not that you're common, Andrew, don't get issy with me. However, I relate to it. I tell you what I do, because I am a night eater, is I do intermittent fasting. So what I do, generally speaking, is from 8 o'clock at night, I will stop eating until 12 o'clock the next day. Okay. And that really helps me because I save the calories until evening. But the other thing I have to do, which is not always the pleasant answer and the positive answer, and it can be a pain in the ass, but I make sure there is planned activity for the evening as well. But when I say planned activity, what I mean is this. I'm not talking about, going for a run. Who wants to do that at 8 o'clock at night? Some of you do. Not a problem. But I talk about planned activity in terms of the stimulation of the mind, because when we are stimulating our mind, easy, I said mind, right? When we're stimulating our mind, what we are doing is we're feeding a gap, usually. So stimulating the mind with something that intellectually stimulates us, takes our mind away from food in the evening, is really important. Now, that could be, it doesn't work for everybody, but it can be watching a documentary, or it can be, writing something, or it can be, I don't know, it could be mini tasks, such as, redoing your CV. It can be talking to a friend deliberately for 2 hours you haven't spoken to for ages. It can be so many things. But the only way, I think, to prevent nighttime eating, again, is through mindset stimulation. Stimulate. It's an important one, right? The S factor, as sometimes I call it. Let me just have a sip of my water. Still on the fast, you see, till 12 o'clock. Mind you, I'm going to go till 1 o'clock today because of the hour. Yes, so there. So bear with me. Oh, hang on a minute. It's laughing. It's all right. I get messages in. There you go. So yes, so some important things there in terms of food management. I think the other thing that I would say is that in the coming week ahead, make sure I would select one thing, right, for Friday Focus. I call it Friday Focus. And Friday Focus, everyone talks about, set a goal. Okay, yeah, it ain't rocket science, is it? But what I would do, everybody, if I was you, is if possible, if there is something that you can have as a Friday Focus that's visual or is a sound, it can be something you play that you hear, on your phone or whatever, but something that's solid, that's a Friday Focus, that actually self-motivates you to manage and live 80-20 throughout the day, throughout the days until Friday. So, for example, it could be that on Friday you're going to book something that really stimulates you, all right? Or on Friday you are going to take an action online that really excites your mind, enthuses you. It doesn't matter what this thing is on Friday, by the way. But the key is that it's there as a stimulus to trigger what we call the pull style of motivation, pulling you towards an end result, so that actually not only do you lose a bit of the old what, right, but you also stimulate your mind as well. Who's saying good morning, Jacqueline Watt. Hi everyone, don't know what channel I'm on or recognize you from sometimes. Doesn't matter. You're here anyway. You're on there's a number of things this goes on. It doesn't matter. It goes on it goes on YouTube, and it goes on Facebook platforms. Yeah, those are the ones it goes on. So there you go. Where am I? Bear with. I want to know if Ollie's out there. Ollie, are you watching? Come on. Say hello. Ollie's the guy I was telling you about at the beginning of this live feed, this Sunday live, who is in the pub I go to. Lovely chap, fabulous man, and has a crush on me. Watches this on a Sunday. Well, you can understand it, can't you, really? So what's happening this week with you? That's what I want to know. I want to hear. I want your fingers tapping the laptop or your screen on your phone or whatever. And I want to know. I'm being nosy. I also want questions. I want you to talk to me. I don't want to just talk at you guys. I want you to talk with me. I want to hear your points. Your points. Is Rishi going to last? That's one question as well, isn't it, in the news? Is Rishi going to last? I think he will. I think he will, you know. I really do. I really do. And I think that there will not be a general election. Everyone keeps saying, you know, call an election. Well, I was one of those people who said, call an election. We need one. And this week I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind. Also, in news, just to let you know that I am doing an event with Katie Hopkins. Yes, the one that, she's got a mouth on her, but I tell you what, she's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever met, helping so many people over the last couple of years. What a beautiful person that lady is, right? Some people disagree with me. Frankly, I know the real person, so I don't care. And just to let you know that on Friday, the 11th, is it the 11th of November? Yes, in Birmingham, we are doing an event together. If you want tickets for that, then do send me a private message. I'll make sure that I send you those details, okay? Because it's I think already we've got 80 people coming, and the room capacity is 100. So do you know what? If you want details, you gotta worry up. Hang on, I'm getting a question here. Will Fat Families ever be coming back to our screens? Love that show. Everyone, not everyone, but most people loved that show. And I'm telling you now, there is not a chance on this planet that show will ever return. And let me tell you why it won't. It won't return. And I'll tell you why. Because of the climate we're now in. You can't say that. You can't say this. You're not allowed to say that. Halt. So Miller jumping out a cake, shouting that melt that lard, right, is never going to happen again. Not on mainstream broadcast. No, it won't. Sadly, it won't. Would I do it again? Probably. Yeah, of course. It helps so many people, by the way. And did you know also that Katie Hopkins, I'm sure some of you watched it, she presented a show called My Fat Story, which was amazing. And it helped so many people. And let me just get rid. Hang on a minute. There you go. And her TV show helps so many people. I get messages from people saying, oh, I loved her show. She helped me. She motivated me. She made me laugh. She made me sit up and think. And it was just brilliant. And I tell you now, there was heart behind the person, the presenter, massively. And that's why we're coming together to help people. We want to help the nation. We want to help you. We want to help many people that are desperately in a situation for a number of reasons, you know, who want to manage their weight, who do want to actually transform, who do want to actually value themselves much more, who do want to have that implementation mentally of self-esteem, who do want a bloody good gut laugh along the way, because I think we need more of that in society right now, and people that do want to have a bit of, you know, no nonsense, straight talking at the same time, blended in, all coming from the heart. Yeah. And what we say at our events is that you will go home feeling better than what you did when you arrived. Absolutely. The other thing I must say to you, by the way, those attending the event, just to let you know that there will be a group online afterwards that supports you to manage and motivate yourself between now and Christmas as well. So there will be a little group set up for ticket holders, which ain't bad, is it, for £22.50? I think it's a bit of a bargain. So you get the event and you also get some after support as well. That's because that's the sort of geezer I am, innit? And there you go. Can't wait to meet both you and Katie next month. It's not long, is it? And I tell you what, I'm really quite nervous, right? I'm nervous. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm quite nervous about it because it's been so long. But I know as soon as I step out and see everybody, and it'll be great. And as you know, I'm not one for attention, but it will be lovely to see a lot of people and to talk with. And I think you're going to enjoy it and you're going to laugh. That's the main thing. You're going to laugh as well along the way. Also, just let you know in news that my brand new website for all my services is launched. Probably the way it's going. I've kept it really short. I don't want a big flash website anymore, but it launches probably in about 2 weeks' time maximum. Probably less, actually, because I've already seen it and it looks absolutely fine. Now, within that, there will be the services for weight management, but there will also be hypnotherapy services for those people that are struggling with anxiety and confidence, because, as you know, hypnotherapy helps that a lot. Why do I do it? Well, because I love it. Secondly, because as an award-winning hypnotherapist, distinction graduate of clinical hypnosis, may I add, how far up my arse does that sound? You know, I offer those services. So those are the 3 areas I specialize in: anxiety management, confidence acceleration, and weight management. There you go. Anyone that's struggling right now, you can email me or message me in confidence. And of course, I'll come back to you and explain the next steps. What time is it? Oh, 4 minutes to go. My God, not long at all. And it is only 2 weeks to go, by the way, to the thingamajig. Also, if you're watching this catch up or you're watching it now, think to yourself, where is a specialist? Is there a specialist place to go for weight management? There is. Weight Loss with Fatnosis is a group on Facebook that you can actually join, and within that, it's just weight management. Okay. And weight loss, because it's separate to the Stephen J. Miller, which also covers other things as well and other discussions that I have. I'm out of breath. I tell you what, I'm knackered. How good was that? There's nearly half an hour gone. Can't believe it. Any more final questions or points people want to raise? Do it now, simply because I need to see it before I toddle. Before I toddle. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look. Right. Type away if there's anything else wants, any questions, any points, any comments, any opinions, anything at all, right? And do let me know. By the way, has anyone watched, is it called The Girl Across the Street? I think that's what it's called, on Channel 5. I watched episode 1 last night, and I think it's really slow. And I don't want to know what happens, but is it worth watching? That's what I want to say. Is it worth watching? Okay. Oh God, dare I answer this question? Right. Have you heard any updates from Alex Belfield? Right. I can answer that question. Right. Alex Belfield broke the law. Alex Belfield did wrong. I know all that. Right. However, shouldn't even have to say it. However, yes, I have. Not from him as person, but I have received confirmation of what prison he's in, and also that he's doing okay, and also that I can write to him should I wish to. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. But I have to say something on this, because it really annoys me at times, is that, again, people are allowed to have an opinion on that person. Me, you, everybody else. If my opinion differs with other people's, that's okay, right? But if people are going to get arsey about it and attack other people that have a different opinion, Well, that says a lot more about you, doesn't it? That says a lot more about them than it does me, because aren't they just doing what they say he did? And he did, right, as per the court report. So actually, there you go. When it comes to Alex Belfield, number one, yes, I thought he supported thousands of people during the pandemic. Number two, he made thousands of people laugh. Number three, he was an amazing support for those that were trying desperately hard to visit their loved ones in care homes. He was there for them, and thousands of people adored him, loved him, benefited from him. I don't know anything about all of this money talk that people go on about. I don't know, right? So I can't comment on that. Did he go too far with the emailing people and that sort of stuff? Yes, he did. Does he deserve to be punished? Yes, he does. Was the penalty the correct one? No, I don't think so. When it's compared to other things, that is my opinion. Okay, which I think is a fair one. And frankly, like many, I encourage you to be. That's my opinion. You have your opinion. If you don't agree, I don't give a toss. But you know, it says more about other people if they are going to be, vitriol with their, as he once called it, the tappy, didn't he? This is it. Right, this is the one I'm watching. The woman in the house across the street is really good. Keep with it. Okay, I will keep with that, because I noticed actually that it's the same lady as the star role. Talks a bit like this and she talks like that. It's do you know which one I mean, right? And as it went on, I thought, oh God, I thought that voice is going to drive me in bloody sane. But I stuck with it. Me and my partner, we stuck with it and we watched it. And at the end, I thought, we looked at each other and then, but we will stick with it then. So thank you for letting me know about that, because I was a bit unsure whether to stick with it or not stick with it, to be honest. But I will stick with it, because this time of year, you know what I mean? I don't know about you, but I love this time of year. I love this time of year because, I don't know, Christmas is coming. Me goose is getting fat, right? And all of that sort of stuff. I just love it this time of year, but I also need good stuff to watch on telly because I quite like that. So there you go. Right, I've enjoyed doing Sunday service. What time is it? It's gone 11 o'clock, right? Sunday service is always half an hour. If it goes over a tad, that's absolutely fine. I hope you enjoy it. If there's things you want to talk about, things you want to do on Sunday service, then of course, leave a comment below and we can reasonably talk about anything you want to. Okay, we can have if it's a really popular one, we can have a dedicated Sunday service to it, because that's always up for being done. There you go. I'll catch you all later. Make sure you have a great Sunday, but even more so, make sure you have a great week. Remember, you, me, we're all too gorgeous to be fat. Get on your high horse, hold your head high, and if anyone tries to trip you up, right, on that note, love you, and I'll speak to you soon. Ta-ra for now.